You're watching E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Share and subscribe.
Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. This is Rob. This video, we're going to talk some MCU and we're going to discuss the X-Men. I have a prediction I want to put on record. And this one is regarding the X-Men slowly being introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe via WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. I've been watching WandaVision, I've been doing my reviews, and I've been saying in my reviews how I feel that I feel strongly that we're going to start getting X-Men elements introduced into the show, as well as Falcon and Winter Soldier. Now, there is a rumor circulating that Falcon and Winter Soldier are going to have some story elements or something regarding Weapon X. And there have been a lot of rumors that there will be an X-Men appearing in one of the final two episodes of WandaVision, that being either Magneto or Professor X. Now, I made the bold prediction that the friend of Monica would be Hank McCoy. But, you know, again, that's just a wild, crazy theory. Other people saying that it's going to be the Blue Marvel. We'll obviously find out over the course of the next two episodes. But here's kind of where I wanted to go. So if we do see an X-Men introduced in WandaVision in the final two episodes, whether it be Professor X, whether it be Magneto or somebody else, and then it is confirmed that some Weapon X story elements or Weapon X project is discussed or introduced in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think we'll obviously that would confirm that they're starting to bring the X-Men into the MCU, but this also, I think, confirms that we're going to see a lot of that going forward. Now, when you think about some of the projects that they've actually announced going forward, one of them were the Fantastic Four, right? Fantastic Four. So why would the Fantastic Four get their own movie and not the X-Men? And I think the reason for that, the reason they didn't necessarily announce a dedicated X-Men movie is because the Fantastic Four are just, you know, the Thing, you know, Visible Woman, so on and so, you know, Human Torch, all that. There's four people. They don't extend beyond that. You know, so you can make a focused movie on those four. But when you're talking about the X-Men, you're not talking about just that core group under Professor X. You're talking about a world full of them. You know, going back to when I used to read the X-Men comics, and that was like my favorite group within the Marvel Universe, you know, yes, you had the core X-Men that were always interchangeable under Professor X. You know what I mean? Then you had Magneto and his band of mutants. But beyond those two groups, you had other mutants that would always be introduced into the universe. You had mutants around the world. You know, you had the New Mutants, right? So when you have a story that contains a world full of mutants, then doing a sole movie on them, while obviously possible because they've done it before, I think what they want to do in the MCU is they kind of want to start bringing them in slowly. You know, certain X-Men, like, you know, Wolverine, Magneto, stuff like that. I think they would want to do that slowly because you want to build that world. I think they want to make that world part of what they have already established. There are some big honchos in the X-Men, and there are some big shoes to fill with the current MCU roster. You know, who's going to lead the way? One of the characters that I always thought could lead the way after Captain America and Iron Man were gone would have been Black Panther. And I think that's something they would have gone with. But unfortunately, you know, what happened with Chadwick Boseman, and they decided that they're going to go a different direction. It looks like Shuri is going to take the helm. So I think, you know, there are just certain characters right now that you just don't see as a leader like an Iron Man or like a Captain America. And yes, those characters could always come back in some weird, crazy way. But right now, that leadership quality is not there. Even Hulk, to a certain extent, doesn't really fit the bill. When you carry over to the X-Men, you have a lot of characters that can fit that bill. Obviously, Professor X, right? Cyclops, which if we ever see Cyclops again, I hope they make him more likable and more leader-esque. You know, the Cyclops they portrayed in, you know, the Fox series was never really that good. You know, he never really kind of felt like that strong leader that, you know, the MCU would need right now. You know, there's still rumors about maybe it being Captain Marvel. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're aware that Captain Marvel character is not very popular. In fact, there are a lot of people that love Monica Rambeau now, and I can understand that because her story, in my opinion, has already been established much better than Captain Marvel's, but we'll see. Maybe the sequel will improve that. You know, not to mention, there's just so many different story elements you can bring in. Magneto is a fantastic villain, much in the way of Thanos, maybe not necessarily power, but in terms of motivation, in terms of a villain that you can actually kind of sympathize with. Magneto is perfect. And I think that's a villain they need right now. I think the ultimate big baddies are going to be Galactus or Doctor Doom, if not both. And I think those are going to come later when we hit the Fantastic Four movies. There was a video I did on this channel some time ago regarding some of the villains I think we might see going in. And on top of mentioning those two, I also mentioned Kang the Conqueror. And I do kind of think that is another villain they're actually kind of setting up right now with the shows. When you consider in WandaVision, we're getting the Nexus. I think Loki's probably where we're going to see elements of Kang the Conqueror. I just kind of believe there's a lot going on behind the scenes that hasn't been revealed yet, but these are kind of my predictions. I think Kang the Conqueror or Magneto as a potential early villain, and I think the end game is going to be either Galactus or Doctor Doom, if not both. But I do think that WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and the Loki show are going to set up either or, if not both, in terms of the X-Men and Kang the Conqueror. You know, I'm a huge X-Men fan. Maybe some of this is wishful thinking, and it doesn't mean we're not going to get the X-Men. Obviously, we are going to get them. Whether or not they decide to bring in elements of the Fox series in terms of characters, I'm not sure. I think Michael Fassbender is a great Magneto, and I wouldn't mind seeing him back. And the same thing with James McAvoy as Professor X. In fact, if you've seen the ending of Apocalypse when they're in the danger room and they show the door closing on Professor X, James McAvoy looks just like Professor X in the comics in that shot. So I would not mind seeing him back. Some of the other characters, I don't. In fact, I'm hoping that when they bring the X-Men in, they're going to be a little bit older. I really don't want too many young X-Men. I think they should show these guys in their late 20s, mid 30s, you know, already established to some extent. But we'll see what happens. You know, we already know we are getting another Deadpool movie. It is going to be rated R. That is another X-Men related movie. That is another opportunity for them to bring in the X-Men. There's just a lot of doors open for it, and I'm kind of waiting to see which character steps through which door first. Is it going to be WandaVision? Is the door going to be WandaVision? Is the other door going to be Falcon and Winter Soldier? Is the other door going to be Loki, possibly Spider-Man, or even Doctor Strange if they decide to do the multiverse thing? I just kind of smell it coming, and I want to get my prediction on record that it's going to be coming this year. We'll see what happens. I'll tell you one thing, if it happens on WandaVision, you know, if we see Magneto or Professor X at the end of the series, you know, I'm going to definitely be excited about that, and obviously we'll review it. But let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about, do you think the X-Men are slowly kind of being introduced into or do you think they're going to slowly be introduced into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or do you think they're just going to get their own movie at some point? I'm leaning towards they're going to slowly introduce them, and they'll eventually get their movie down the road. But I think there's so many characters there, and there's so many elements that they could use to kind of fill in some of the gaps that they have right now in the current MCU roster, that I think that's what they're going to do. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Until next video, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Click here to watch more content. Don't forget to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like and share this video. If you want to know when the next video is up, click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. And most of all, make sure to click that subscribe button for regular content.